Hey, so Rupert, how's this whole re-virginizing and getting fasting going for you at DNC?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to show today. I intentionally qualified low down because of track time, so now I can have more track time. And I think my blue balls will keep me grounded on the driver's stand and motivated. So I think I'll probably lap everyone in the C main. And then B, I should be able to bump to the A, and then I'll be good. And Anthony won't make it that far, so I'll beat him too.
Okay, I like the confidence.
Yeah, man.
It's definitely better than suicide what you was on.
Yeah, everyone's talking about all these other fools in the C main, but they got no chance. Ryan Maifield and Team Associated, and who else is in there? All those guys anyway. I don't even know their names. That's how unimportant they are.
Wow. Well, I love the confidence. I can't say that I'm as confident as you in your abilities and your confidence.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'll be good. Don't worry.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed, Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 64 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and DNC is over, and now we have to analyze and talk about it all. What a weekend of racing. What a weekend of dramatic things that happened. Some surprises, some surprises in who done well, some surprises didn't do well. You had threats of throat punching, which I thought was extremely funny. That kind of blew up the internet, but it was a good weekend. My first time really coming in and doing the whole just race and leave thing was a bit challenging, like getting there, making sure everything's done on time. And you only have, so much time to get things done beforehand. But yeah, it was all good. It was an event, a great event. This is the second year that this event is taking place at this track. So it was a little bit, and the track was different from last year, but we'll talk more about that when I get in with Joseph. Congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to the Viking David Ronnefalk. I'm super happy about that. I know he's super happy about that, like a monkey off his back. He got that big race win in, and I think it's been since 2018 DNC since he won a really big race. So congrats to him. Congrats to Maifield on Truggy. And congrats to Ronnefalk and Ebuggy, and especially to Seth freaking Van Dalen. If you don't know who Seth freaking Van Dalen was before, you know who he is now. TQ. So before I go on any further, I just like shout out to all of the No Name RC podcast listeners from around the world. We do have some new shirts, some decals in limited order, and hats in the shop that you can buy. If you did purchase a No Name RC podcast shirt, or if I did give you some decals and you did purchase a hat at DNC, thank you. I appreciate it. If I missed you and you were supposed to get one, just let me know. But I appreciate the support. I like the Nitro is the Glory on the back. That was Joseph's idea. It was really cool. And I appreciate the support. It was a long weekend. And I just, I got to meet new people that I haven't met before, which is always one of the biggest things I enjoy going to one of these races. And I probably some people there that I didn't know that I've talked to on Facebook, but it's like hard. I don't remember people's faces. You got to just literally come up, say, hey, what's up, Keenan? How you doing? Because sometimes I talk to quite a bit of people on Facebook, and sometimes I don't put faces to profiles. So if I didn't meet you at DNC, I hope to meet you at the next race, man. Because everybody knows you could come up to me and just start talking. So good stuff. Thank you to all the patrons. You guys, you got your patron wins in. So I got that to you. If you haven't contacted me already, please contact me and get me your address so we can get all this stuff shipped out to you. And congratulations to all of our Patreon winners from the Reedy race. So, and of course, thank you to our sponsors, RCMX Online, Techno Racing, JQ Racing, BK Servos, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, RC Raceworks, and of course, Beach RC, who also sponsored the live stream for Live RC. So you guys should say thank you to Beach RC by going over there and purchasing something from them, because they help bring this podcast and they help bring the live stream from Live RC for DNC. All right, so Joseph has had a few days to, calm his nerves and get off suicide watch from his abysmal performance at DNC. But now we're going to sit down and talk about it and see what we saw and what we figured out. Plus, we have some Facebook questions. There won't be any guests this week. I do have a after race interview from Ronnefalk that I did record with him that I'll put in this podcast. But basically, this is an analysis of DNC from Joseph and I's eyes, because he was actually there. We got to see, and Joseph sees a lot more than I see, and I see things that he doesn't see. So it's pretty good. And let me call up Rupert. Maybe he is on still on suicide watch. I don't know. Let me call him. What's going on, Joseph? How you doing? Have you recovered from DNC yet?
Yes, I have.
Are you feeling better now?
Why would I be feeling better?
Because after this week and how much you sucked, I swore you would be on suicide watch. I had Maifield look after you yesterday when I left. He said you was okay, reported in all right. You weren't showing any signs of wanting to kill yourself after that abysmal performance at DNC. So I'm just checking on you.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure? You don't sound
It was so
fine.
bad that it doesn't bother me.
You was? Well, I got something especially for you to start off this podcast. Would you like to hear it?
Go ahead.
You're fired. 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 You're fired.
Let's go. You're fired.
I thought you might like that. Did you recognize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy Trump.
It's your significant other. And if there was a reverse universe, you're like reverse Trump. But you know what, Joseph?
From the podcast or from racing?
I don't know. Like, we kind of have to keep you around for racing for a while till you find somebody else. But you know what? You were not alone in all that had a bad weekend. Because lots of people had bad weekends this weekend. Lots of people needed to...
Lots of people.
Yes. Well, see, you want to be rude, but we'll touch on that. But a lot of people needed good races this weekend. A lot of people needed to win. Only one person can win, and a lot of people needed to do well. And they really didn't. So this is DNC 2020, dude, 21st edition. It got exciting in the end. It got exciting. I think it was exciting. I enjoyed myself. It was good to meet up with new people and all that type of stuff and hang out with you guys. And obviously the banter between us is ongoing in the podcast and in the pits. But I'll tell you what, Saturday, I was so cold, I wanted to just go home. So I really needed another coat or something, man, or some gloves. I was cold, man. And I don't get cold like that often. But I knew, I was just like, man, it's raining. Let's just go. But they kept at it, and they ended up finishing the race late. I didn't stay for that. You did, but you was also living in a camper, you weren't living 30 minutes away. So, yeah, good stuff. I don't think I've seen a DNC Truggy race live yet. I didn't see 2018 because I was pissed off at you and in the camper. And I didn't see last year's because...
what a great...
Well, I wasn't reporting on races in 2018.
Now you are. No excuse.
I wouldn't say what I do is report on races. So I go around and get the
We're supposed to talk
atmosphere.
about the race.
Well, I am.
Analyze the race.
We
You
are
weren't
going
even there.
Well, we weren't. I wasn't there for the Truggy race, but I was there for all the other ones. And I did see the Ebuggy race. So that's where you was there. You saw it. So you got a chance to talk about it. But I did actually rewatch the main today for the A main because I wanted to see if Barufalo almost hit Maifield or anything throughout the race. And I didn't see anything so far. But anyway, Joseph, DNC's over. We're here. Now we got to talk about it. What do you want to do first? Do you want to... Well, first, you know what? I'm going to say congratulations. Congratulations to David Ronnefalk, a.k.a. the Viking. He almost went in full berserker mode this weekend, and he won Ebuggy, and he finally got that monkey off his back, which was getting a big race win. I really went back and checked. I think we can say 2018 DNC was his last big win.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, he told me about it. Do you want to hear what he had to say after the race?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. So DNC is over, and I'm here with the 2020 DNC Nitro Buggy champ, David Ronnefalk, aka the Viking. What's up? How are you?
Well, I'm pretty freaking good right now.
I would say so. Great race. It took you a while to get the lead, but once you did, you didn't look back. What was your strategy going into this race?
Being the track like it was super rough, I walked out there before the main, kind of, had the lines that I wanted to hit and just focus on those lines throughout the whole main. You're focusing so hard, so there was a couple of times that you kind of missed those lines and the track will bite you instantly. So I had a couple of wrecks, but thankfully I had a big enough gap so I could get back to the track on the wheels again without any stress on my shoulder, so could still take it pretty easy, just cruising around and making sure I hit those marks, and that was the most important out there. The line was very narrow if you wanted to go smooth, and the car, my HP Racing, Performa engine, hot race tires that time, worked really well, so I couldn't have done that without the package I had. It was just flawless, and I'm super happy, of course.
Yeah, you and Maifield went at it for a few minutes. You was behind him. I think you was just stalking him. I was up there giving color commentary with the guys. What was your thought pattern behind your approach to Maifield?
No, I mean, Ryan and I, we race clean out there, and my plan was not to, of course, it can happen that you touch each other, but I wanted us to be going out in front before we started to race it out hard. And he had a couple of crashes that kind of helped me out, but I had no plan on making any moves unless I really knew I would make it clean. I just wanted us to get out in front and then we could race it out, so at least we could secure the podium. But as I said, he had a couple of bad crashes that cost him a lot of time, and I could salvage from this and pull out in front. Thank you.
You've had a couple of close victories over the last 2 years. I think this is your biggest victory since 2000 and
Started better, would have maybe been closer. Good job, buddy.
Since 2018 when you won this race. I think this is your biggest race win since then, correct?
No, for sure. I had a couple of good races going last year. Unfortunately, I fell kind of short on the finish line every time. But yeah, definitely, this race is close to being a world championship. There was a couple of drivers from Europe not going this year that was here last year, like Robert and Canas especially. But definitely, this is a challenge, this race. It's not easy, and it's one of the races you definitely want to win. And it's the first big race of the year, and we got a big one coming up in September as well. So it's always good to get a good start to the year and keep that momentum rolling. I want to go back and get my European Championship title back as well in Redovan, which is a track I've been going pretty good, but didn't really have the success I probably could have had, let's say that. And I'm just excited for the year. I feel my package is on point right now, so I really feel like I can be in contention for any race I attend.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go. I'm looking forward to 2020. Next up for you is what, DXR?
No, I will go EOS in 2-3 weeks from now, and I'll spend some time making sure my indoor facility is finished. I have 2 carpet tracks being built on road, off road, and after that, I have the HB race in France. I'm actually not doing the DXR because I'm going to Philippines instead.
Okay.
So that will be the next few races coming up for me.
So how are you guys going to celebrate tonight?
We haven't been able to have a proper dinner here the previous night, so I get to choose the restaurant. I don't care what the others say. I'm going to pick it, and I'm going to have my dessert, which is Pisuki at BJ. So that's where we go.
Cool, man. Well, congratulations. You know I'm stoked for you. And go get your trophies, man, and celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keenan.
All right. Bye-bye.
Man, I'm so excited for the Viking.
Hey, so Rupert, how's this?
So excited for the Viking. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he I can see like when I went to talk to him, you can see like all the pressure was alleviated from him. Cuz he's been so close.
Yeah, he's been so close so many times.
Yeah, his dad was super happy. Like the whole HB in my opinion had the best weekend, period. They swept the intermediate podium. I believe Kurt Callum came second. No, he didn't come second. He won Ebuggy. Yes, he won Ebuggy. Over 40, beat Degani. And they just had the biggest presence, I would say, out of all the teams. You know, there were 3 big camps there. 4. There was the TLR camp, the Techno camp, Mugen camp, and the HB camp. And I think the HB and Techno and Mugen camps were the camps that had the best DNC, in my opinion. But, man, kudos to the Viking. He almost went in full berserker mode, but he didn't. You know, full berserker mode. Oh shit! He almost lapped guys in his main too. So wow, super impressive by Ronnefalk. I think he had a lot to prove, and he did it all. Like he just needed this win. He was one of them guys that needed a good win, like just to boost his confidence. And I think with this confidence going into this year, he's gonna be unstoppable because he had a shit ton of confidence before. Now he just won. Probably one of the hardest races in RC. Again, after a big break. So, wow, his confidence level is off the charts. What do you think?
I think it's good he finally won because I said a couple of years ago that he'd be dominating in 8-scale off-road. So he better start dominating now.
Yeah,
so my prediction comes true.
I mean, he's still young. He's only 23 this year, I believe. So lots of time. And what a great year. I mean, he had a good Montpellier. Well, he had a bad Montpellier, but a good final where he came second. And then he does this weekend. And an uncontested win, I would say. Because once he got out into the lead, that was it.
Yeah, so what? So do you want to talk about the race now or what?
Yeah, let's talk about.
Do you have a structure or?
Yeah, let's of course.
Just gonna mess around here.
No, we talked about it before, but I'm just finishing up on Ronnefalk because that was the interview that we had. So anyway, race started. What do you want to talk about? Nitro Buggy first, or you want to? No, let's talk about Ebuggy and Truggy before.
Why don't we start at the beginning? So we arrived and the truck was actually ready.
Yeah, so you owe me a 6-pack for that.
Yeah, because I said the track wouldn't be ready.
Yeah, but I have my thoughts on the track. I'll explain them in a bit.
Well, why don't you explain them now since we're talking about the track?
Okay, well, the track looked really good when I got there. He did have it off. I mean, I would say everything looked really nice. It looked good, track looked good. I wasn't a big fan of maybe that big step up on the very back, but with a step up that big, there was nowhere else you can put it. Really, I don't think. I do not like not having a straightaway. I think we need straightaways in RC. I think they're fun. I think that 6-pack rhythm thing that he always does in the front, we didn't have it last year because he couldn't do it, but he had it at 2018 and he had it this year. And you know what? It looks fun and it's probably maybe fun as a driver to do it, but I think it's very unsafe for turn marshals. And I think it's just that make it like if you crash in the middle of that 6-pack, it's like your race is almost over. If a car crashes and you don't know and you hit that car in the middle, your race is over. And it's just very difficult for a turn marshal to get there. It's very dangerous. And It looks like fun, but I think they should be somewhere else. I think it should be a straightaway on the front or a straightaway somewhere. I don't know. And as for the track getting really rough, I will never profess to have as much track building experience as Joey, or I've built been into building tracks for 20 plus years. I've built my track here, and I don't have half the stuff that these guys have available to them. But I know in the week leading up to my race that I done here with 40 people, maybe that came and race, I watered and rolled that track every day before the race. I believe a track needs to settle in, if that makes sense. So it sets in, it gets hard, you keep it watered, keep rolling it, and then it doesn't get as rough. It will probably get rough, but it will take longer to get rough. Not on the first day getting blown out. And I think this is what we're seeing. It got blown out last year, but, he didn't build the race to the day before, finish the race until the day of. And it got blown out the first day this year. And I think it comes from, he should have it, I'm thinking he should have it ready the week before. Send Tom out there to water it. I mean, that's another thing. They didn't have sufficient water. Send Tom out there to drench that track every day. Like, that track should never even get dry for a week. Like OCRC, that track never gets dry. Like, it's always wet. And I think that would help with it getting so rough so fast. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I talked to others, and they had the similar thoughts. What do you think?
I'm not going to go on a long rant because I've said all the things before. Mm-hmm. But maybe just in general, people probably saw the video of the speakeasy in the container. So the container, that's the driver's stand. You go in there and it looks like it's just storage, and there's a fridge there. You walk through the fridge and you go into a speakeasy, so like a secret bar. And you can watch the races there, and there's nice mood lighting and drinks and all that stuff. So I just think that Joey put a lot of effort into that and perfected that. If he did the same for the actual race, we could, have a great race out there and everyone would enjoy themselves more. But I guess the race isn't that important. So it is what it is. So speakeasy, on point. Perfect that stuff. But the race, not so much. Just like
that speakeasy was pretty cool, though.
Gets it done. But the track, the layout, I thought it was kind of boring, and I wasn't a huge fan at first in practice. But then when it got rough, then it was fun. So, yeah, I mean, he knew it was going to get rough, so maybe that's why he made the layout the way it was. Now, I do prefer at least one straightaway on the track. That's right. And yes, those front jumps are pretty dangerous. I don't know how many people got hit. We know of at least 2. And yeah, I don't know. There's enough jumps on the track. Just have a straightaway, I think. And then I think actually the funnier thing was that he built a practice track. So the whole idea of the practice track is that you can go there and tune your engine, make sure everything's running right. Well, there was no way really to tune your engine there because there was no straightaway there either.
To be fair,
it's just jumps.
To be fair,
there's just jumps there also. So how are you going to tune your engine when you can never really rev it out?
You know what though? I'd give my left nut to have that tuning track here. I'd give my left bowl to have a tuning track like that here, just as a regular track. But because we don't have nothing. But yeah, no straightaway. So people were just driving up and down the pits. I remember like E-Clip was driving up and down the pits while I was doing a podcast. So yeah. Speakeasy was good. I did not know what a speakeasy was until it was explained to me the day afterwards. But I thought that was pretty cool. You guys know what speakeasy is. It's a thing in California, apparently, or LA, where they have hidden bars. It's an American thing? Okay, I know it's I had never heard of it.
They had prohibition. They weren't allowed to drink alcohol, so they had to be secret.
Yeah, but this was pretty cool. It was like you walk in the container. There's some video of it. There's a refrigerator. And you open the refrigerator, and there's a door to this secret room that it's got a bar, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty lush in there. That's, we didn't get invited in there. But Jay Smoker got in there, and he was trying to get me to go in there all afternoon. Come on, Lefty, let's go through the speakeasy. You can video it. I was like, man, if I'm gonna go to that speakeasy, it's because I got invited by Joey, not because you're dragging me in there. And Smoker was feeling nice by the end of the day. He don't drink. He was drinking vodka all afternoon. So crazy.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. Even Greg told us that.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
I bet you he was just walking around with a red cup. That's it.
No, it was a blue cup. He had a drink and he brought it into the pits. Cup. I smelt it.
Okay, then he had the same drink all night and didn't drink it.
Probably. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the track. It was a lot. You know what else? I was like, man, I'm glad I don't have to race this race. Cause I don't mind a rough track. They did try to fix the track at night, but I just think it was no rain leading up to this. It was really dry. It was dust everywhere. I don't know if
I like that it got rough. Like I said, the layout was kind of boring. Without the bumps, it would have been really boring, I think. But the bumps made it fun, and also the jumps were all doable. So even when it got really rough, you could still do the jumps. So that was a good thing, I thought. There was no jump that you couldn't do or that was broken on the face to where you couldn't do the jump. So they did a good job there.
Yeah.
So make sure the jump faces are good and all the jumps are doable. The rest of the track was just super bumpy and rough. So I like that aspect.
I saw a few people complaining about it, like, oh, does this help grow RC? Nobody wants to go race on that. And you know what? I can understand why people say that, because
I don't think the track was a problem as in that, no, how does this grow RC? Like, people are going to quit because the track's bumpy. I don't think that's a problem. I think everything else about the race is a problem, but not the fact that the track got bumpy. I mean, of course, he could have made a bit of an effort not to build like three, 4 blind spots in the track. I mean, that would have been more fun. But still, even with that, it still wasn't an issue. It wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they need to let the track settle a little bit more, so it doesn't get as blown out. I mean, like you said, the jumps were good. That's one thing I'll say. His jumps usually don't get blown out.
I don't care. I don't even care about that. It's fine. It can get bumpy, but just decide what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And the annoying thing is they have some Toothless Tommy's out there with his tribal watering patterns. I mean, how can you not even figure out how to water a track? That's ridiculous, right?
Well, he did by the end of the
either water the track or don't water the track. If you water the track, do it consistently, do it properly, like make an effort.
Well, to Tom's,
that's my
in defense of Tom, that dude worked his ass off. Like
There's no defense.
No, but he was out there. Like he was always turn marshaling for people. He was watering all 3 days. All the days I saw him, every day I was there, he was working his ass off. So they only had 2 water hoses with very limited pressure. That's another thing they have to fix for next time. Maybe they could have got away with just watering the outside to keep the dust on. But man, that track was it was gnarly. I'm seeing rougher, but there was definitely some craters. And yeah, I know a lot of people wouldn't be used to that, but this is
what saved the race was Saturday when it rained. That saved the race because then the track held moisture and it was more consistent and it was more fun, and Sunday was a really good main day. So that actually saved the track and improved the race.
It's so amazing how dry it was.
For once, they should be happy that it rained because it made for a better Sunday for everyone.
Yeah, but even though it was so dry, it rained for that long. That track was like a sponge and just kind of absorbed it all. It could have taken more, if you ask me. So, yeah, the rain did actually help out things. Not time-wise, but helped out the track. So, yeah, I think they definitely have to water that track like every day leading up. Well, they have to have the track done, I would say, at least 5 days before the race. And just get it watered, man. I think all these old-time track owners, they would agree with me, too. And then he got some different clay in, too. I don't know if he got that, or he got some different dirt. I don't know if it came from that area or where. But it was definitely more dusty than it was last year. But then again, we had a lot of rain last year. So, But all in all, you didn't like the pit setup. I like the pit setup. One thing I will say, all these teams have picked up their game on the pit thing. Oh, man, because all these pits look good. You had TLR that looked really good, big fortress of RC. Your picture that's now famous, taken by Tiny. He took it. He has a new techno camp. The techno pits look good. Obviously, the HB, Associated, Mugen, everybody looks good. Like, even they were small. S-Works had like 2 tents, 3 tents. Kyosho had a few tents. Hot Race was there. So every team was representing, So it's definitely looking a lot better. And you know what I do like about this? Running water, great bathrooms, and asphalt. This is actually a great facility. This is a great venue for the race. I agree. But being in California, being in Paris, I think it takes from, let's talk about another thing. Entries have dropped as well. I was looking on my, doing some research before this. So in 2018, 728 entries, 306 drivers, participants. 2019, first time at this race, 655 entries, 285 drivers. And this year, 602 entries, 243 participants. So this race his participant level has decreased by 60 people, which may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot. Let's say each 60 of those people represent 2 classes. So that's like almost $200 going right there per person. So yeah, that's a good bit of people missing from a race. That's 60 people worth of entries, 60 people less. And I don't know, maybe I think it has to do with location. People aren't, Arizona was a closer place to get to, like the people from Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, and all the surrounding states could easily drive there. And I guess California just isn't as easy. And it's expensive in California. So, yeah, I don't know. Or people are just going to different races nowadays. Or not traveling as much. Or the industry isn't as healthy as we think it is. Or everybody proclaims it to be. What do you think, Joseph?
Why there are less drivers?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just fluctuates. The industry hasn't been very strong in recent years. So that's why.
Yeah,
I think most entries to races are down.
No.
And I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I just think
Wants to spend 5 days morning to late night at the track.
It wasn't that bad, Joseph. It really wasn't that bad. I mean, the latest we got out would have been Saturday, but otherwise we didn't. We got out at 8, maybe latest 9 every day besides Saturday. And that was because of the rain. But that's because he runs Truggy and Buggy and Nitro Buggy on separate days. That's the only reason why. So it does make it comfortable there. I want to talk about the tension, dude. I'll tell you what. The tension between these top drivers was so thick you can cut it with a knife until Saturday. I think that's when everything kind of just eased off. Like the rain allowed for everybody to kind of intermingle and go around. They threw a football around for an hour, like one group of guys watching, and I think that kind of diminished all the tension. But I'll tell you what, man, Wednesday, everybody was thrashing and everybody was just like so serious, trying to figure out what's going on. And then Wednesday, like it was just 3 tense days for me. I noticed it. I don't know how you felt, but I kind of noticed it. How about you?
Yeah, I agree that rain was good because it, like you said, it relieved the tension in a sense.
Yeah, why do you think people were so... I think people, like I said, it just comes down to a lot of people needed a great result at this race. A lot of people needed to win this race. And then you have a lot of people that want to do well to impress people at this race. So everybody was just tense. Oh, it was pretty good. And the first big race of the year. So, yeah. Unfortunate, but I mean, not unfortunate. It was very tense. That's how it should be. These guys are racing for a living, and it should. Like, everybody was the pro guys were taking this serious. Except you. You took it serious, and then, I knew by Wednesday it was done for you. You had mentally screwed yourself.
So did I, but it had nothing to do with mentally screwing myself.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, you want to go on anything else? Anything else you'd like to add before we go on any further?
No.
Did you notice anything that I might not have noticed? That you'd like to talk
Probably.
about?
Associated had new parts in their cars.
Yeah, what new parts did they have? I heard you say that.
They have a narrow rear pivot, so C&D blocks, and then new arms, lower arms, like enclosed arms, and upper arms on the front also. So I guess longer rear arm and narrower pivot.
They're going the way that you predict everybody was going to go.
Yes, sir.
How narrow is it? Did you measure it with your engineer eye? Get it down to a millimeter?
I didn't, but probably like 54, 55 mil, 52 to 55, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Do you remember what the techno one is?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Way too narrow.
I thought you would have known all that. I thought you would have knew all of that. All right, so let's touch on Ebuggy and Truggy, then we'll go into to Nitro Buggy. So, like we said, Ebuggy and Truggy qualifying were on Thursday. I think, Ebuggy and Truggy are two classes that the European guys don't really race much. And I forgot to say that we also were missing a few European guys. We were missing Savoya, Canas, and Battier. Now, I don't know why Battier and Canas weren't there. I heard it was something to do with Spanish Nats. Savoya had family things, which I understand. But then I heard it wasn't because of Spanish Nats that Canas and Battier was there. And I just find it kind of shocking that they weren't there, with Battier being one of Mugen's top drivers and Canas probably being the top driver at S-Works. I thought this would have been an important race for them to be at. And I'm disappointed that they weren't there. Did you hear anything else to the contrary?
I think Robert's going to South America.
He is going to
Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Warm up and other races and all that stuff.
Interesting. I know he's going to Uruguay, then to Brazil. So it was just missing them. It would have been great to see them come and race on a track like this. So, oh well, they did have Boots, and we did have Ronnefalk, Barufalo. We all know we had Barufalo, but a smaller contingent and Angaro, y'all made it. So let's see who made the A. Yes. And Musso. I was surprised to see him here. Is that his first time to America, you think?
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. But the Europeans did make a good showing for themselves. I believe they made all their finals. So
how many Europeans in the main then?
Are we talking about the Ebuggy main?
No one cares about Ebuggy or Truggy. Nitro Buggy main.
So we had Ronnefalk, 1, Ongaro, Barufalo, figure 4.
5.
Who was Boots. Sorry, I forgot about him.
€5 in the main.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's very good. Very good. But we'll talk about Davide Ongaro later. Very quiet weekend for him. Very quiet weekend.
Okay, so Ebuggy. David Ronnefalk wins.
Again.
No one's surprised. He won last time. He was pretty dominant. No one really had a chance, I'd say.
No,
right?
they didn't.
It was, yeah.
It was actually quite a boring race because he got out front and that was it.
Well, I mean, he did almost mess it up, but yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of his style. He slows down a bit. Like,
yes, that's what
play
it was.
Safe, and then when he plays it safe, then he makes a mistake.
Yeah.
But he has a big enough lead to where it's still okay.
I just couldn't get excited with it.
He does make the races. End of the race is always exciting.
I think what was most exciting was like the 4th place race, or that race for 3rd was pretty good, if I remember correctly. But I don't know, I don't know. Maybe these races need to be 2 races, like motocross style, 2 finals at least. But I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just can't really get excited for Ebuggy. But congratulations to Ronnefalk. He did win it. And no surprise there. We did call Fenn.
In other news, I beat Westergaard, but didn't bump. Finished 4th.
That's your early victory for this year. That you bumped out of the C main to truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get. Westergaard's.
Fended himself in Ebuggy, I think.
I believe he did.
Yeah.
But I think he finished. Let's see. Let me bring up the results. He
No,
did.
I was sure that I predicted that Ronnefalk would win Ebuggy, but apparently, just to please you, I had said that I'll give it to Fend.
No, you
So
did.
I
did say
myself too by predicting that Fend would win.
Oh, you did. You did do that. So let's bring up. What about? So do we want to talk about Ebuggy anymore, or we're over it?
No, we're really over Ebuggy. So Ronnefalk wins second year in a row. He's an Ebuggy specialist, clearly, at DNC. I remember with Kyosho, he also won by a massive margin one year. It was at the Fear Farm. So yeah, for some reason, he's really good at Ebuggy.
Yeah, for something that he doesn't really race much. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Viking. That's first stage of Berserker mode right there. First stage. And we had Fend in second and Ongaro in third. Another, like I said, a quiet weekend, but Ongaro did get on the... No, sorry, I'm looking at wrong results here. That's actually Truggy.
You are such a mess.
I know.
Wasn't Tebow up there?
All right, I got the results right here. So we have Ronnefalk, Maifield, Tebow, Tessman, Ongaro. So yeah, Tebow on the podium again. Third. Ronnefalk in third. Man, all three of these guys had good weekends, looking at it. Ronnefalk first, Maifield second, Tebow third. Two wily veterans, and I guess we can call Ronnefalk a veteran too, even though he's so young. But yeah, good job to Tebow Maifield. Tebow had a really good weekend. He looked stressed though, so stressed. Oh my gosh. But I guess so, man. He's got two young guys knocking on his door like to take his top spot. And this weekend he showed why he's still the top guy at Techno, in my opinion. So
yeah, man.
Actually, the race between Ronnefalk and David was pretty close. It was just over a second. So yeah, he did mess up near the end.
Ronnefalk and David.
Yeah. No, sorry, Ronnefalk and Maifield.
Yeah, he crashed.
Yeah.
Next to last lap.
I forgot all about that. Good stuff. All right, let's talk about truck.
Ronnefalk did a Ronnefalk.
Are we now going to call that the Ronnefalk if he messes up or slows down too much?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do that
That's
in
a
Nitro.
Ronnefalk.
He didn't do that in Nitro Buggy.
Lead was too big.
Yeah. All right. So another good showing for the three teams that we said had the best weekend of all weekend, which is Mugen, Techno, and HB. So let's turn our focus to Truggy, which happened at about just before 12:30 Sunday morning. I will give the Dirt crew and everybody a big shout out for the work they put in to get that track back up and running. To race after the rain on Saturday, even though it was very late. I'm sorry, I didn't stay there, but Joseph did. So let's talk about it, Joseph.
Yeah, the Truggy man was pretty good. I was already thinking that Fend was going to win and that I'd have to listen to you for the next month. But then he didn't. And it was actually impressive. So Maifield wasn't really fast enough in the beginning of the main, but he was right there. But then what happened was he figured out the lines on the track. So you could actually see that he changed his lines in certain sections and then consistently hit those lines and then ended up being faster than Fend. So it'd catch up, but then there would be something would happen, small mistake, Fend would get a lead again, then Maifield would catch up again. And that sort of happened a few times, and then he got by and pulled away. And even the last 5 minutes of the race, he would change his line. So what did he do? So, for example, coming onto that front straight, that double, he would double to the outside and just rail outside in the fluff and then do the jump sections on the front of the track. So that was one line he did. But then the more significant one was after that big step up at the back, he would go wide. So he just stayed wide and avoided the bumps. And and Fend wasn't doing that. So that helped him a lot. He just could carry more speed, and it was also safer. And even a smaller detail, which I also noticed, was in the beginning of the race, that S section in the middle, to the left and the right, and there's that long sweeper. He kept hitting one of the bumps in that sweeper, but then he just went round the bump after a while in the main. And small difference, but still a difference. So he changed his lines enough to where he got faster. So that was impressive to see. And also then when he had the lead, he changed another line, which I saw, which was so you do the jumps on the front, quote unquote, straight. So front jump section. Then you turn right, then you triple towards the back of the track. Then there's hairpin. Then you jump over a tabletop back towards the driver's stand and turn left into that triple, which everyone was sort of double singling. So throughout the race, this was actually one place where he would catch, but then make a mistake and lose time also. So he jumps the tabletop, goes sort of inside, middle, over some bumps, then double singles. Now, it was fast, but some laps he would mess up a bit and lose some time. So after he got the lead, what he would do was one lap. I actually happened to watch that lap. So jump the tabletop. Then last second, he just decided, I'm going to try go wide. And then he just went wide in the fluff again. And it was smooth. So then the next lap, he comes around, sets it up much better, and just jumps the tabletop wide and rails the outside and double single, because it was a safer line. So the last few minutes, that's what he did. And so I think Maifield won that race because he was smarter.
He adapted
as the race was going on. He found lines which were smoother and faster and consistent, and that's why he won the race.
I like that, because that's actually something that I noticed in the Nitro Buggy main, is that there was not just one line and everybody was doing something different. But we'll talk.
That's actually why I like how the track develops, because you need to think and you need to pick lines, and it makes the racing better because drivers make mistakes, and also maybe a driver has a better line than someone else so he can catch up. So that's why I'm not too worried about the whole, like, the track isn't rolled and it gets rough. That's not a problem. It's just everything else and the inconsistency. That's what I don't like. So, but the track being bumpy, that's a good thing. And that's why this Truggy main was good.
Yeah, and the Truggies, they can handle this roughness a little bit more than these buggies. But I did notice that in the Nitro main, and that's just Maifield, man. He's been doing this for a long time. And he's looking, he knows he's got to take every advantage that he can get. He even did these same lines in the Nitro Buggy main. But, I mean, we complained about the Nationals being a one-lane race or one-line race. And this race was multiple lines. That's why I do enjoy, like you said, I do enjoy when it gets a little bit rough. So people have to change things and find different lines. And Maifield was a master of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be. Rough tracks, motocross.
Yeah, but sometimes things can get a little too rough. I don't mind rough tracks. I hate blown out jumps, so we didn't have blown out jumps. So
I don't think this is too rough.
Silver State was worse. Most definitely.
They're good to have a variety of tracks. Some tracks are smooth, some tracks get rough. That's it.
Yep, I agree. Anything else you want to add about Truggy before we move on?
No.
Well, let's talk about your Truggy experience, because this is when the shit started to hit the fan for you. Actually, you was in a better mood on Saturday, but you didn't beat Vestergaard. You guys were in the same main, but he bumped, didn't he, or didn't he not?
Yeah. It was a good race. It was close racing. Something happened. I got taken out once by Arredondo, and I think when I came in the pits,
you did.
I messed up.
You did get taken out. But you hit. I remember because Barry Baker goes, "I bet you we're going to hear about that on the podcast." He took you out right into the hay bale, actually. So
yeah, I lost quite a bit of time there. Then, I remember what happened. So then I was, maybe 3 seconds behind Westergaard. Like, I saw where he was, and then there were two guys between us and then me. But then after the second pit stop, the tank lid was left open or it opened out on track. I don't know. But I after that pit stop, I could feel that the engine went super lean. Sometimes I couldn't clear the jumps. And I said so to a mic on the headset. But then I changed my driving a bit. So I didn't use the throttle as much and as aggressively. And then it was kind of okay. So I said, well, I can get around the track okay now. But then I ran out of fuel. So the lid was open and it was leaking fuel everywhere. And so I ran out of fuel. So that was a shame. With a clean race there, I'm actually surprised that I was racing with Anthony. And at times I was ahead of him. So yeah, I was surprised that I was actually competitive there.
Yeah, well, not to make excuses for you, but definitely having an open tank would make things harder. So yeah, that was it.
I felt like the Truggy was actually good. Like I was having fun out there.
So is that Truggy retired until what, next year again? Or are you going to actually do some Truggy racing?
PMB.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, you're going to PMB. So cool.
Yeah.
Worth it. Definitely be worth it racing at PMB. All right, well, let's move on to Nitro Buggy and Nitro Buggy qualifying. First of all, I'm going to say, Seth freaking Van Dalen, man. That dude, if you didn't know who he was, you know who he is now.
Yeah, he's fast.
I
didn't really.
I've been
in the same race with him. I never saw him qualify.
I believe you was. That's why you didn't get to see him.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's why I didn't see him.
But I mean, I've heard about Seth from Josiah and Ran Out of Talent and Connor. So I had heard how good he was. I saw him at Buggy Land do really well. He qualified well. And then again at SIC. But this was going to be the big test. And that dude went out there and TQ'd his first ever DNC, which I think is freaking well impressive, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Techno are going to have to stop paying him if they don't already.
Yeah, Techno actually has a very good problem right now. They have 3 fast dudes. They have a lot of young guys coming up. They have, I don't know. I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough for Tebow. And he goes out and gets 2 podiums. 2 podiums. And it's a fight. I think it's a fight. I actually said this to Danny and Matt. I said, no, you guys have got a good problem. You got 3 fast guys. You got the wily veteran and Tebow. Joe Bornhorst is the young up and coming guy. But he's older than Seth Van Dalen, younger than Tebow. He's up and coming. He's knocking on the door trying to knock on that spot. And then you had Seth freaking Van Dalen that came through and just kicked the door on and said, yeah, I'm Seth freaking Van Dalen. And I'm here to race Techno RC cars and beat everybody. And that's what he did in qualifying. Super. That made qualifying really good. Somebody different, not the same people. Throw a monkey wrench in everybody's spokes, everybody's program. Kudos to Seth freaking Van Dalen. He messed up on the first lap. Not even the first lap. The second turn or second jump of his pro main. And that kind of just meant him, but just kind of, messed him up for the rest of the race. But congratulations, dude. I like him. I got to talk to him, his dad, his girlfriend. They're all into RC really a lot. And he's a good young man. And he has a bright future ahead of him if he keeps it up. And it's good to see, It's good to see that happening. So, otherwise than that, what were your impressions of Seth? You got to see him a few times. You think he's the real deal?
I mean, I guess if you TQ DNC, you're the real deal. But like I said, I didn't get to see him qualify.
Yeah,
the main after his crash, he was just in the back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. But lots of races to go. Lots of races to go for Seth Van Dalen. And man, Techno had a really good DNC, really, really good. And they were all happy. I was in there and, like I said, talking to everybody, and they done well. And as for Tebow, man, he pulls it off once again. But he just looked so nervous all weekend and so tense. And then remember, I said, hey, I saw him walking away from the track with ice on his hand. And we obviously thought that he probably hit something in being pissed off, but he didn't.
We didn't obviously think that. You said that.
No, but you said that too.
No, you
Yes, you
came
did.
and you told me.
I did not say
I didn't
that.
say anything. I didn't know anything.
I said-
you came up and told me that.
I said, I see Tebow walking from,
So what's this we?
because
This is
you,
all you.
no. I said, I saw Tebow walking from his pits with ice on his hand going to the bathroom. That's all I said.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
you
I
said
did.
that you. No, you didn't.
Mm-mm.
You said, did you hear what happened with Tebow? I said no, and you said that he hit
No.
something again.
I didn't
No,
say he hit something.
Yes,
I
that's
said he did. I
exactly
said
what
he
you
came from
said.
his. No, I didn't. I said something happened to
No,
his
you're
hand.
making shit up.
No, I'm not. Not.
Yes, you are. That's what you said. You didn't say anything about ice and toilets.
I
You
did.
said
I said he just
that
came.
He punched something. Tebow's mad, and he punched something again, and he hurt his hand.
I did not
That's what
say
you
that.
said.
I said I
Yes,
saw.
you did.
No, I didn't. See, now you're putting stuff in my mouth.
Oh, that's exactly.
No, I
why
didn't.
would I think that?
Because
why
I
would
said-
think that otherwise.
because
You told me that.
You know, are we going to argue this for 5 minutes? I said, Joseph, I just saw Tebow with his dad going to the bathroom with ice, wrapping his hand up in ice.
And why did he have that?
And I said,
You
maybe
said
he
that
hit something.
reason. Gave
I
me a
didn't say a
reason.
reason. I said, maybe he hit something again or something happened.
No, you didn't say maybe.
I didn't say he did hit anything. I said,
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said you heard he was mad and he hit something.
You know what?
That's what you said.
You know what? All right. I'm going to let you say that.
Yeah,
But
because it's true.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes.
Whatever. You also jumped to that. So what are you talking about?
Of course, because you've just walked up and told me that. Why would I doubt you?
You're putting words in my mouth. I came to you, said, hey, Joseph, I just saw Tebow and his dad walking from the techno pits. He was really pale. He was holding his arm with ice on it. Maybe he hit something. That's all I said. Then you jumped and you got all crazy, like everybody would. But apparently this happened from turn marshalling in the spot that we talked about where Jeremy got hit. Also where Shane swatted a car out of the air, which he claimed was going for his head, which it wasn't, which is something else we need to talk about. I didn't get to read his Facebook. I just saw he said, yeah, I got hit during marshalling as well. But you told me that his Facebook said that a car actually hit his arm. He deflected the car or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty dangerous, dude. So he must have, I wonder if he went down in between to get a car and then a car was coming flying from his head and he just put his arm up. But here's the dangerous thing about it. What if that car
he's jumping off track.
was jumping off track? Okay, but what if that car would have broke his arm or his hand? He would have been done.
His face.
His face, yeah. He would have been done RC-wise. Like for that race, he would have lost thousands of dollars. This is why I remember when I was kind of like, why is Spencer Rifkin's dad out there turn marshalling for him? He's a young kid. He should be out there turn marshalling. But then someone says, yeah, but what if his hands or fingers get damaged? He's here to race. So, yeah, dangerous, man, dangerous. And like, Venus was talking about turn marshalling. We might as well talk about Jeremy who got hit. I know Jeremy. That dude, like, he's lucky. Like, you may say he had to look both ways before he crossed there, but that guy was finished his race. He should have pulled into the pit lane.
The guy that got hit in his head?
Yeah, but he didn't get hit in his head. He got kind of hit in his shoulder blade.
Oh.
But how the car...
Shoulder and head.
Yeah, like the
Sure,
back... Right, he didn't get a direct hit to his head, but like the back, when it hit his shoulder, like the back came up and smacked him in
Of
his
course
head.
it's his fault. If the light is green and you go across the road and you get hit by a soccer mom in an SUV, that's your own fault. Why don't you look? Like, yeah, you shouldn't run a red light, but you, as a pedestrian, you're going to lose that battle against the car, right? So you look, you make sure no one's coming.
Yeah,
You see
but
what
that,
I mean? Like,
yeah, I
after
understand
it
that.
happened, it's you play the blame game. Like, how's that going to help?
Because that guy
You're
should have
dead. You're
went
under that
into
SUV,
pits.
Or you get hit in the head by an RC car. You look before you walk across the track.
Also
I saw a lot of people go marshal cars and not looking.
I agree. I've done it myself. He
I
wasn't.
don't know why people do
Can
that.
I finish? Can I make my?
You always do.
Can I
And
make
you know
my?
what? The finish line was right there. So
No,
yeah,
it
you
wasn't.
can do that jump.
The finish line.
And you can still do
He
that
was
jump.
done. He went for an extra lap
Okay, then I don't know why he was still going for a second extra
or
lap.
whatever. I don't know what was going on, but
I doubt
every
probably that guy was done there.
maybe, but still, he was done before that jump. The loop is before that jump. You can still.
Yeah, but when you are done there, you still do that jump. Everyone fucking did it.
I don't know.
No one was done and pulling the pits. So maybe go back and look at the video. What was going on? It doesn't matter. The guy
was still on the track and he did the jump. If someone walks in front of him, it's their own fucking fault.
Yeah, but
should someone be jumping after the race is finished? No.
Yeah,
but that's how the track is, and that's what people do. So you don't walk over the track without looking. I mean, I don't know why this is so difficult.
Yeah, but I think as a driver, you have responsibility too. Because I know if I did that to somebody, I would feel like shit. So to quell this argument, we just looked at the video to see what happened. And honestly, I still don't know what happened. It looks like the race was long over with. Where did that orange car come from?
Jimmy was saying that someone didn't finish, but it's like already a minute after the race. Like marshals are walking away, everyone's pretty much over it. And then he's like, oh, there's this orange car finishing or this orange car running on the track or something. The video kind of pans to the other side, so I don't know where this car appears from. It's just on the right side of the track, and then he finishes his lap. So when the race is that far over already, yeah, you shouldn't be jumping anymore. I mean, people are walking on the track, leaving, marshals, anything. Like it's it's 1.5 minutes after the race, like the time finished. Everyone else has finished. People are walking off the stand already, I'm sure.
So you change your verdict.
No, I shouldn't. No, I'm not. So just like that woman in the SUV who shouldn't run a red light, the driver shouldn't be jumping anymore at that point. But I think the responsibility still lies on the marshals walking. Like if you cross a track on a jump, you look. Like if you go to a motocross track and it's closed, you don't go stand on the landing of a jump or walk across a landing. You don't. Certain things you don't do.
Well,
that's one of the things you don't do. Like if you're gonna walk across a jump, you look. Preferably don't walk across the jump. Or walk in front of the jump.
You know what? But so we should. This comes to like.
No, this is common sense.
Yes, but this also comes to no regulations, no rules, no fucking nothing.
No,
these races are run.
They have jumped into pit lane.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm surprised that didn't happen more.
It didn't happen more. I mean, I'm sure someone jumped.
They did. But they knocked off. I think you might have too. But I'm very surprised more people. I was like, man, if I have to pit somebody, I am not standing at the very end of the pit lane because that's going to be prime real estate to get hit. But what I mean, it comes down like as the driver should be responsible too. He shouldn't be doing that jump. All the marshals are going. You know what I mean? You can see Jeremy didn't even know this car was still going. We didn't even know it was going and we was looking at the camera. So it's too bad, man. It could have been worse. He could have got hit full on in the head and that would have been very ugly. But, this is just some of the things. We should have high-vis vests too. I keep saying this. But I don't know. Just lucky he didn't get hurt. The other incident was Shane, who claims that this car was coming at his head, but it looks like he just fell, like he was going forward and couldn't stop. So he kind of just swatted the car out of the way so he didn't get hit. But that's Shane.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny. All right, so let's talk about throat punching and Marco Barufalo and Maifield before we go on any further. So this was the big thing Friday. And a lot of people, I like Maifield for this because he wears his heart on his sleeve. And he said, I was going to give my stuff to Jason and go down there and throat punch Barufalo. No,
he said if Barufalo had ruined his run.
Had ruined his run, he would have went down there and did it. No. That's funny because I've never seen nobody get throat punched. But what would have been funnier if that would have happened? I don't want that to happen. Let's just say that I don't want that to happen. I don't want people to get hit at RC races. But what if Barufalo was on this lie like some secret Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt and like a whole scuffle and it's like he looks, Barufalo, he's a good-looking Italian kid. He probably got, is just sitting there. It's like, yeah, like Italian tomorrow. That he's like got that attitude like. What if he just went over there, I am faster than you, and then like it was a throat punch coming and he just blocked it, and next thing you know, like him and Maifield are rolling around on the driver's stand. That would have been funny, but it would have been bad too. But we all know Barufalo, he came over in 2018. He was one of the guys accused of running a gyro. So he's got that on his. He does have that on his shoulder. I talked to him afterwards and Nico, and they're like, yeah, what about in 2018 when we came over and everybody said I had a gyro. I don't say anything about that, or nobody knows who Seth is. Why he doesn't say he doesn't have a gyro? And I was like, yeah, I get that. And I said, well, what was you doing behind Maifield? He goes, I was faster and I was trying to get around him. Right? But we also know that Maifield and Barufalo and Bornhorst, people were pissed off at Barufalo last year at this race. And then, people were pissed off at him at RCGP all this year. So is it Barufalo or are people just picking on him?
No, it's him.
Yeah.
It's the way he drives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He brings it on himself.
What was he? I tried to look at it on the replay. I couldn't really see what he was doing crazy. I saw in warm up, Maifield tried to let him go, and then he wrecked and he tried to get in front of him again, but I didn't really see him hit or come close. I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
I don't think they did hit, but he was just being overly aggressive around Maifield on the track.
Yeah, and you know what? That was Mayfield's last run, and tensions were high.
Yeah, he did it, and yeah,
he broke.
But Buffalo ended up crashing, and then they were separated on the track, and Maifield got the points he needed, and he still qualified direct in the main. Okay,
I think even Ronnefalk kind of knew that he needed it and backed off him a little bit. Instead of pushing him hard to overtake him, he kind of just settled in and said, "I'll take whatever I get. I'm in the main." I think he kind of even said that to me, but. Yeah, man. I talked to Maifield afterwards on the Saturday, and it's like, look, this isn't a Europe and USA thing, but that guy's got to learn some respect. And, it's just something, and it's nothing that I haven't heard from other drivers. But then Barufalo goes out there in the Q2 and throws down a run that blows away everybody. You know what I mean? He has the ability to do things with these cars that I haven't seen other people do, but he just doesn't do them on a consistent basis. But I like Barufalo. I like him. He's like, I'm faster, so I'm going to go around. But I don't know, man. It was tense. It was funny, but it was tense. And they just I don't think Barufalo was bothered by the day, but I think on Main's day, he came close, but it was racing. But I think he didn't want to touch Maifield. He didn't want any more issues. So I did see that from him on the start of the main on Saturday. It's not Friday.
Yeah, so should we just go through the main and
I just wanted to cover the throat punching incident.
Yeah.
So, as you
imagine if I said that.
Yeah, somebody would have throat punched you. I don't know if you can really throat punch somebody. You could throat chop somebody. You couldn't throat punch me because you can't really see my throat. My chin gets in the way. I don't know. It'd be hard to throat punch me. You might punch me and hit me in my chin or my mouth. You, though, you're kind of tall. Throat punching you is actually pretty easy. You got that long neck, quick chop, shut you up forever. But I must say, we do not encourage violence in RC.
We don't condone violence, but we do encourage people to speak their minds.
Yeah, I don't like people's like, oh, Mayfield.
We need rivalries.
Mayfield would have really done that.
Everyone can't be Tessman,
Yeah. I like it because it makes it rivalry. It makes it more. I would have liked to seen them get into each other's face. That happens in RC. Maybe a little shoving.
Yeah, we could have had it in the main there. It was close.
Let's
talk about the main.
It was super close. All right, so 45-minute main. So they didn't take the Gunners' advice and make it 60 minutes, which he wanted so bad. Starting on the S section, Seth Van Dalen in first. Was Marco starting second? Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good race for Marco. Starting second, that's good.
So how about we just go through each driver?
Yeah.
What do you want to start, first or last?
Let's start last. Elliott Boots. Pretty quiet DNC for Boots. Pretty quiet.
Yeah, nothing to write home about.
Yeah, he had some, I expected him better than this, but I think it looks like he only got 9 laps in, so something broke. Unfortunately.
14 laps.
Yeah. Sorry, 9 minutes in.
Yeah, he never really featured throughout the whole race, I think.
No.
he was there, but there's no. I mean, we have nothing to say really.
No, nothing at all. No,
Expected more.
Yeah.
To produce.
Yeah, he didn't. Unfortunately, when he came to DNC last time, which he didn't. I think he came in this 2017. He finished second, I believe, and he was doing that. He was the only one trying to scrub that hard step up that they had, and he, messed it up every lap, but still made it up. Yeah, we didn't really see any of that this year. So unfortunate from Boots. Nothing really to say much. Go home.
Yeah.
Take that race, learn as much as you can for it, and get ready for the next one.
Yeah. So Cole Ogden 14th.
Cole Ogden out of the C main.
Yeah, I think Cole is a lot better than what his results show. So I still think that there's some sort of mental adjustments that need to happen for Cole to be better.
Yeah.
So
he shouldn't have been in the C main.
He has the talent and the skill, but he doesn't have the head. He blows out, makes dumb decisions, blames other shit. He's not focused. He's not focused enough, doesn't concentrate, eliminate mistakes, work on his shit. He has everything except the right attitude and mentality to do well.
I believe that's something that's improved in Cole over the last year.
It has improved, but it's still not there.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
Because
he could and should do better. And he shouldn't DNF. And he shouldn't blow out and break his wing and do front flips on the front straight. It just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was expecting more out of Cole, period, because he can do a lot better. But we all have those frustrating races. So maybe this is just one. He's to be honest, he's kind of always not done well at these races, at DNC, lately. So I don't know. Bit disappointing for Cole. I expect more. Especially after RCGP. He was so good there.
Well, there too. He had his ups and downs.
Yeah, he did. But, he was good. So,
He has a good package now. Good equipment. Good speed. And he needs to put it together this year.
I agree. Maybe he needs to go back over to Europe for a little while, hang out with David. That seemed to do him a world of good last year. I think he should do it again this year. Ryan Cavallari. Oh, man. Poor Cav. He was one of those guys that needed a good race. He needed a win or at least a podium. And he
made the main, but didn't really produce anything. I mean, that raises questions maybe they just didn't get the S-Works car to be good on the track. Kind of same problem with the JQ camp. Didn't really find a setup that the drivers were comfortable with. So maybe that's the same thing that was going on with the S-Works, because both their drivers, made the main, but didn't do very well.
No, nothing to write home about. And it's unfortunate. I just don't know why Canas wasn't there. And I even why the owner, no Max there, which I'm shocked. Thought he'd be at a big race like this. But he wasn't. So I guess they have their reasons for that. But not a good showing for S-Works, but they had two cars in the main, and I believe Camden bumped to the B main, and he beat you.
Yeah.
So,
I got taken out by a cone. A marshalling cone in the track. That was cool. That's when
I remember that whole story about that.
That's when Camden got by me. He went on the inside of the cone.
Seth freaking Van Dalen, dude. Well, unfortunately, he finished 12th. But after that first pile up that he caught, that happened to him on that double after the step up, you know what? I have nothing bad to say about Seth. I think he done well. He TQ'd. I think he made a great account of himself. He'll learn to deal with big race nerves and stuff like that, which I think this might have had a lot to do with starting on pole. He'll learn as he gets older how to deal with this, and he makes more aiming. I am not worried about Seth Van Dalen. I am just going to say how many Europeans is he going to beat? Because that's who he's going to be racing up here in the future. These young European guys that are coming, Actually, well, it's the same age as Davide. So, he'll be racing against these guys for many years to come. If he keeps to the wicket and Techno puts him on the payroll or whatever, I think we can expect a lot more out of Seth Van Dalen. So let's not judge his result That's not judging by this result. That's judging by what he was able to accomplish this weekend. Are you in agreement with me there?
Yeah, in qualifying, you mean.
What did you just say?
You said, let's not judge him by this result. Let's judge him by what he was able to accomplish this weekend.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, in qualifying, I added.
In qualifying. Okay, yes, that's what I thought. Barufalo. Oh, man. Barufalo. Oh, very exciting first 7 minutes of racing of that man. Super exciting.
Such a shame that he flamed out, because that could have been an awesome race.
What?
Ronnefalk.
So great.
Ronnefalk, Barufalo, and Maifield.
Now,
that could have been awesome.
I watched Barufalo, and it was so close every time. Like, I'll tell you where I thought he was going to hit. Two places I thought he was going to hit, they were going to come in contact, was off the step up, because Barufalo will go down on the, now that's who was diving down on the inside of that step up. He would dive down, then they would get very close, because then Maifield will go wide and come to the middle. They will get very close there. Maifield will get that edge up to that next bull turn, to like that table, like that tabletop, whatever. And Barufalo will come very on the inside and like check up in the middle of that turn. And I couldn't really see over that berm. Oh man, it looked so close. I was like, man, if this guy hits Maifield, oh, this shit is going to hit the fan. And they did get into each other, but it was more, I think it was 50-50.
No, Maifield tried to take him out or something, I'm pretty sure.
But he got in front of him.
Okay, so the thing about Barufalo, which was funny, was he just drove through all the bumps, which is pretty crazy. Like, his car was really good, or he's just a great driver, I don't know. But everyone's kind of trying to go around the bumps and find new lines. He's just driving normal line through all the bumps. It's like, what the hell? Like, how is this guy doing this? Like, after the step up, everyone's kind of going wide or very inside or doing something, like trying to avoid bumps. And this guy's just powering through every single bump on the track. It's like, why don't you like try miss a few bumps? Maybe he'd be even faster. But no, just through all the bumps. It's crazy. It would just look crazy. And then, yeah, it's a shame because he finally got in the lead. So he was in the lead. I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? And then he flames out. And apparently he ran out of fuel. And this is not the first. He runs FX, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is not the first time this has happened. So he says, practice. They tried, and he had good run time and safe, everything good. Then in the race, ran out of fuel. Do you remember Coelho at the Worlds? Same thing.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going on with those FX engines and inconsistent run time. Like, they need to figure that out.
Maybe I thought
it's not the first time he's flamed out. Also,
I thought, okay, I want to go back a few steps. Two things that scared the shit out of me when he was driving. After he got in the lead, he had the line where he would still kind of go to the inside after the loop and then push out wide to those jumps. Man,
yeah.
he I don't know how he didn't break his car a few times on those jumps. Like, he was able to pull them out. But then he went wide, he jumped over, and he was coming back onto the track, and he came on, and like when he came on, Fenn was jumping and they hit each other, but he kept on going. But he was still able to get back to like first after that. Or then did he flame out trying to get back to first? I don't know. I just think we was robbed of what could have been a great race had he not ran out of fuel.
He was in first when he flamed out.
He did. Okay, so he did come off the track, come back on, and then I think he might have just used up a lot of fuel trying to, because if you looked at him, man, Maifield was just driving his line, and Barufalo was just like, whap, 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 everywhere, like trying to get around him, but not hit him. It was impressive. Like, you had to really be there to see how he was driving, man. It was super impressive. He would even use bumps as drums.
Through all the bumps.
Yeah, and he would even use them to his advantage. Like, some of them he was able to time through. Just an amazing driver. And I think if he ever gets it right, he will be even more unbeatable. But he keeps getting in his head and he keeps doing stupid stuff and ran out of fuel. Like, just so, like, what was it? I think he ran out of 37 minutes to go. So just over 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes and out of fuel. Can't happen.
Yeah.
Can't happen. But I don't. Did him and Maifield get involved anymore throughout the main? I was looking today. I couldn't find it.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I think once he faded back, that was just it. So I'm starting to like Barufalo a lot, man. I like his I don't give a fuck attitude, but he can't be taking out people just like that, though. He's got to calm down a bit. I think if he just like I said, if he could get his shit going and everything connecting right, Barufalo is going to be hard to beat. But next up, anything else to add on to Barufalo before we move on?
No.
Spencer Rivkin. He had to bump into the main too, I believe. I believe.
Yeah, not the strongest showing.
Yeah, but he didn't make the A main last year, but he did this year.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, just a very quiet weekend for Associated. For having such a big team, having the world champ there, 2 world champions, just a quiet weekend for him. Like a very quiet weekend. I didn't even see Spencer that much. That's how quiet it was. So Tanner Denny, I would say this is a decent result for Tanner.
Yeah, switches to Mugen from
ninth.
TLR.
Yeah.
He bumped from the B main. He had a good run in the B main. I watched it. It was close. Bornhorst was catching him, but he just held on for the last bump. Yeah, good race, good result.
Yeah, a solid result for
there's
Tanner.
more to come, I think. He has fast laps always. Like he's able to get those really fast laps, but he's a bit inconsistent, makes mistakes. So if he can just sort of eliminate those mistakes but keep the same speed, then he'll have better results.
Yeah.
So he has the lap. He can produce the lap time. He just makes mistakes.
And it looks like Mugen's going to have another young talent in their stable. Looks like Tanner Stees is going to be driving Mugen this year. He didn't drive it at this race, but from the word that I heard, he's out at X-Ray and going to Mugen. So he was in the pits all weekend. So shame they didn't race because he's pretty good. He should be racing more, racing these races. Next up is Yao Figueiredo. Only Kyosho in the main. 8th, I believe he had the bump up as well. I would say this was not the best of weeks for Joao. I'm sure he wanted to be higher, but I would say it was a good weekend for him. Top Kyosho
He's
driver.
another driver where if he slowed down a bit, he'd be faster.
Oh, I saw him make
way
so
too
many mistakes.
Even that B main, actually, he should have been out. He had some really bad mistakes and situations in the B main where he lost so much time and he was so far behind that I thought he wasn't going to make it. Like, wow. But then he just puts, ridiculous laps together and then he's in the fight again and then he makes it. So he's just, if he could somehow, just like Denny, slow down a bit, not make the mistakes, but keep those fast laps. If he can do that somehow, then he'll improve a lot. His results will improve a lot. So, yeah, another super fast, but just too inconsistent.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. I watched this A-Man, man. Let's put it this way. This track made a lot of top guys look like novices, but he was making a shit ton of mistakes. And I'm surprised he even finished that good, to be honest.
Yeah, like I said in the B main, it was looking like he wasn't going to make it. He was just blowing out that bad and such long crashes. And then he's fast between the crashes. He's fast enough that he made it.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. Number 7, Ty Tessman. I actually got to talk to Ty and Gord this year, and hopefully we got him on the podcast. But he did lead the race at the beginning, but made a mistake and just faded back. And I guess we have to talk about Ty here because I went and did some research. And his last big win was the 2018 Nationals. Truggy and Buggy, Nitro Buggy. He won Truggy and Buggy. He has won the U.S. Open 2 years in a row. He came second at the Worlds. And Buggy came second at the Nationals. I mean, the USA Open, it's a decent race, but it's not the size of DNC or the Nationals or Silver State. But Ty hasn't really won a big 8-skill race in 2 years, I would say. Just over 2 years. So I don't know what's going on there, man. I don't know.
Well, he's been close, right? Didn't he have a good run at the Worlds?
Yeah, second. I said that. He came second at the Worlds. He came second at last year's Nationals. So
They're still there, but just, yeah. Well, David hadn't won either for a while. So there's so many good fast drivers out there. So
yeah,
it's different. It used to be a bit different.
I think
fewer drivers were winning, but now there's more drivers.
I also think when Ty was winning a lot, there was, there was no Davide Angaras and Barufalos. They probably were, but they weren't racing together. His biggest competition he had to worry about going to a race was even maybe not Ronnefalk so much, but definitely Maifield and Cav and Tebow. So he's in that generation that's kind of in between those guys. There ain't many guys left in that generation, I would say. So a bit of a disappointing day for Ty. Expected him up. I mean, I could have put Ty in my top 5 easily and top 3. But it wasn't to be. But here's anything else to add about Ty before we move on?
Oh.
Adam Drake. I think this is one of the biggest surprises of DNC this year. Adam has proven that it isn't age, but life that makes you faster. He's 41? Maybe, I think now, 42? He done well at this DNC, dude. He ran 40 plus. He won that convincingly, which a lot of people aren't too happy about. We'll touch on that in a minute. But man, he was in third at one point in the final. Adam was fast all weekend. That's just seriously. You have hope, Joseph. There's hope for you. It's not age, dude.
Adam Drake gives me hope. He was actually in second.
Yeah. That's damn good.
Didn't he lead at one point?
I don't remember, but
yeah, he was. Yeah, he was leading the race at one point too.
I mean, impressive for him all weekend. And he's doing and he's helping out Rhonda and helping out everybody else. To be able to do this was super impressive, man. I was really impressed with Drake all weekend. Turning back, there is this fountain of youth for RC racing, and I believe that's just constant practice. Because that's what he does. And
yeah, good setups.
Yeah. Good setups.
Worked well.
Yeah.
It was fast. He got the extra track time in the 40 plus class.
How do you feel about that? Some of the 40 plus guys are upset that a paid pro is able to run 40 plus. But
in my opinion, it's not unfair to the 40 plus guys because it's an age class.
Right.
But it could be seen as to be unfair to the pro guys because when, let's say, Maifield turns 40 and he's winning these races still, and then he gets extra practice compared to Ronnefalk and Ty, and he keeps winning. Let's say that was the case. I mean, yeah, I do see how that's a bit of an issue. One guy who's winning races gets an advantage because he gets double track time because he's old enough.
Yeah.
And they are fighting for the same race bonuses and paychecks and all that stuff. Imagine you go to the World Championships and one guy gets extra practice. That wouldn't fly. I don't think that's fair. No, I really don't. So if you want to if you want to remove this as a problem, as an issue, as a topic of discussion, then just make it simple. If you want to run 40 plus, you can't run the pro class. If you run the pro class, you can't run another class with that vehicle, with an 8-scale Nitro Buggy. You can't run pro and sportsman, for example. That should be a rule. Then that would be easy. Do you see what I mean? Seth Van Dalen. I'm going to run intermediate and pro. Then he TQ's pro. Everyone would be like, hey, what the hell? You can't run it intermediate and pro. Do you see what I mean? Hello?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's an age group. It's not a.
Yeah, so
it's
I
different.
Know, but if you want to run 40 plus, then you run intermediate.
Well, Callum, Bogey Givens almost came third in 40 plus and finishes third at intermediate. So
I know.
So
it's not fair for any of those because
right.
Then the intermediate guys are saying the same thing. Well, this guy gets more practice because he's 40 plus. So
I think it should just be a rule if you're a pro. Like if you're getting paid to race RC cars for a living, then you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But there is no rule like that. So I can't blame Drake for getting the extra lap time. Yeah. I think that's why when
I don't know.
Hello?
I don't know the solution. I think there are too many classes and it's stupid that, to get your money's worth, you have to pay multiple entry fees and run multiple classes. It's just one more thing that makes the race more unfair. So, yeah.
All right. So, but kudos to Drake, man. He drove really well.
Regardless of that, it's like saying that if you bump from the B main, you should just be leading the race at some point.
Yeah. He drove well on weekend.
Whoever else, they ran a 30-minute B main. Yeah. So they knew the track too. They got more track time than other guys, but them up there.
Yeah, I agree. So
Adam did really well.
I agree. Totally. Next up, we have Davide Ongaro. I think Davide struggles at nighttime, man. I think he struggles at nighttime at these races, and the extreme temperature changing for tires, I think he struggles with it.
I think his problem in the American races is the way he sets his car up, because it doesn't really work over here. And he even said that his problem in the main was that the rear of the car was too loose. Mm-hmm. And that's just, like I've said before, and the reason why I said back in the day that I think Ronnefalk will dominate these races is because he doesn't have anything that's extreme. His car setup is very standard, basic. He drives a car that has grip. It has grip, it has steering, has rear traction, everything. It's balanced. He drives a four-wheel drive car how a four-wheel drive car is supposed to be driven, in a sense. There's nothing extreme about it. So whatever the conditions, he'll be strong. But someone like Ongaro, he's quote-unquote unbeatable in some conditions, like super fast, because he's very extreme in that direction with his car setup. The towing, the loose rear end, how he slides the car around the track. But then when you get to a certain type of condition and that doesn't work, he can't do that anymore. Yeah. So he kind of struggles a bit compared to his normal level. So, and these sorts of tracks and these American tracks, his style is not the best for this. And I think that's why he's not as good here as he was in Australia. He is in Europe because of that thing. So, and also it's more critical of when something goes a bit wrong, like DXR when he picked the wrong tire. His car was because it's already loose, those tires made it too loose, and then he wasn't racing anymore, he was just surviving. Where with a more normal standard setup, when you make a small misjudgment or pick the wrong tire or something, or the track changes a bit, you're still okay. It's not a disaster, you're not fighting the car, you're not surviving, you can still race. It's just not as perfect as it could be. So yeah, I think that's kind of what was going on with him here. He was still good, but just not fighting for the win. And I don't think it's him. It's not that he's grown up and found a girlfriend. It's just that the conditions don't really suit the style and the setup that he chooses to run. And also I heard from Greg that they did choose the wrong tires. So I can't remember what combination they had, like impacts and zips or whatever it was. But yeah, not the right tire for that main.
I just want to correct myself. I said earlier that Spencer Rivkin had to bump in, but he didn't. I thought he did. He actually qualified directly through. My mistake. It was Cole, y'all, and Tanner Denny that bumped up. Sorry. I just looking through results. I wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure if he bumped up. But yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, it kind of happened like at RCGP, he was fast. But, man, I think Canas and Ronnefalk and Cole and McBride were faster than him. He won that race.
Yeah, yes. But the RCGP tracks kind of suited him still. The least suited was the Thunder Rally track, and you saw Ronnefalk lapped him there.
Well, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I meant at that race. Like, he only won that race because Ronnefalk broke. He was just off pace. But in order for him to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, I think he has respect as a world champion. But I think in order for him to get full respect from the American crowd, maybe he has to win in America at some point in his career. Maybe if it's just once. So we'll see. Just a very quiet weekend from him. Very quiet. Associated period. But I'm sure, what can they do? Like, they have to work on a setup for America then, sounds like.
Basically, yes.
Well, isn't that his mechanic's job to figure that out? Or is it just lack of experience not being racing on these type of tracks? With his mechanic.
Maybe a bit of lack of experience to find what he really likes on these tracks and how to make him fast on these tracks when it gets rough, and racing at night when it's cold and moisture comes up and all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, but they got Saxton. They got a lot of people experienced there to help him out. Maybe they need to listen to him a little bit more, or I don't know. I don't know, dude. But I was expecting. I was expecting a top 3 from Davide. Moving on, my guy Dakota Fenn. I talked to him a few times this weekend. Talked to Barry Baker. The TLR camp is super confident in Dakota Fenn, and you know what? I am too. I just didn't pick. I did, but I didn't. That's a whole nother story. I did pick him to win Ebuggy. Like, as usual, I mean, he's fast. But he did make uncharacteristic. He did finish both races. So let's say Fenn, it improved. He finished both races. He finished Truggy and Buggy. But he did make a lot of mistakes in Buggy. A lot of mistakes. But he still ended up coming fourth. So, do you think Fenn will win some races this year now that he's finishing races?
No, I don't think so.
Why not? You can't use that.
He's gonna keep getting fended.
No, man. Fenn is gonna do all right. I have confidence in him. I have confidence in Fenn this year. Not enough that I changed my bet near the beginning of where I changed my pick near the beginning of the race, and I went for Viking. But I mean, he finished. Everybody says he doesn't finish racing.
You didn't change your bet. Wait.
Yes, I did. Wait. I said go Viking.
No,
so
that
meant that I was rooting for Viking.
Yeah, you were rooting for him. He was not your pick. That's different. You didn't say he
obviously
was going to win. You made a post like, let's go Viking, like you were rooting. You wanted him to win.
I did.
That's different from actually making a pick. You said Fenn was going to win.
I know I did. Yeah,
exactly.
But I
you
also
didn't change it.
I also said that order can be reversed. And it was. Kind of.
Yeah, that's not how it works. You make one pick. That's it.
Don't tell me how to make my bets. I make my bets. I can bet twice.
I said Ronnefalk with Nitro Buggy. He did. I said Maifield would be second. He was.
Mm-hmm.
Third, I put Ongaro, so he failed me.
Yeah.
I said Maifield would win, and he did.
Well,
Ebuggy, I said, just to keep, just to make you happy, I said Fenn would win.
Yes.
I'm never doing that again. I should have just said Ronnefalk.
So you're not impressed with Fenn? That's what you're trying to tell me.
I'm not impressed with him. Yeah, he's really fast. He's really good. But he gets fended. So he's not winning.
Well, he did get a top 5.
Yeah, but could have been better. Actually, you know what? I think he was just making mistakes.
He just made mistakes.
Really.
He finished what?
Just mistakes this time.
10 seconds behind Maifield, but I think silly mistakes, man. All right, let's talk about hashtag throat punching. Ryan Maifield. Man, Ryan Maifield was intense at this race.
Good podium in all 3 classes.
Yeah. I'm sure he would have liked to have won Nitro Buggy, though.
I'm sure he did. And you know what? I think Barufalo is well and truly in his head now.
Really?
Yes, because I mean, that was probably the last guy he wanted to battle there in the beginning. And then when Buffalo got by, it definitely looked like Maifield just not even trying to sort of, let's play it safe, let's keep going, let's race clean, just fucking ran into him in that burn. I didn't even watch the video. I saw it live. I'm like, yeah, he was going for it. But he ended up worse off.
Yeah.
So after Buffalo got by, Maifield runs into him, and Maifield actually ended up worse off because of that. So it kind of backfired. But then, 1 or 2 laps later, Buffalo ran out of fuel. So that was that. But yeah, I think Buffalo is in his head now. So I want to see them race more.
Yes, me too.
Guess what?
We ain't.
Next time they race, the Worlds?
That's the shitty part about
this
all of
is
this.
the problem we have. These guys need to race more. Race together more. Now we could build on this, but no. I wish there was like a series or something.
Yeah, me too. I wish there was a series too.
They had good coverage and all that stuff. Oh well, maybe one day. But yeah, so Maifield, I don't know what happened there. I think maybe he just had he had his speed, and he could, when he tried to go even faster, tried to catch David, he could see like David's creeping away. He just couldn't, started hitting bumps differently, a different speed, and just the car wouldn't take it. He made some mistakes. He kind of had to settle back down. He just couldn't hang with David. David was too fast.
No.
Good.
He tried to hold him off, but, Ronnefalk was just really patient. He didn't even go berserker mode. He went in shield wall mode, I would like to call that.
I know, but I'm saying when Ronnefalk got the lead and started pulling away,
yeah, he didn't even try.
He couldn't do anything about it.
I just think he couldn't.
Mistakes started creeping in. Like he had a bad one day in the sweeper too, and lost a lot of time. And then it was like he just defending second, not even trying to win the race.
That's what he spent most of his race doing, defending second. So you can't catch people when you're trying to stop people from overtaking you. That's the issue. So while he was defending, Ronnefalk just, pillaged away. Pillaging. But a good weekend for Mugen, a good weekend for Maifield. It could have been better, but that's how racing goes, man. That's how it goes, and especially this race. So unfortunately, we won't see them race again until the Worlds. So enough about that. But congratulations to Maifield, Truggy champion, third place, podium as well, and Ebuggy. Good stuff. Jared Tebow, the veteran, says, "Oh no, oh young techno drivers, I am the veteran on this team. And I still got a lot of fuel left in my tank." That's what Tebow said to me, without even saying anything.
Yeah, good race for Tebow. I mean, starts 10th and finishes 2nd.
Man, I'll tell you.
And I mean, he beat Maifield. They battled there the last few laps, and he beat him. So he only got second 3 laps from the end. So yeah, he was moving.
Yeah, I think I do think the techno car, the nitro car, look good at this track, and that's really good because remember we always used to say the old car wasn't good at these balloon out tracks. Well, I think they'll work hard on it. Tebow's done a good job. He did win the Buggy Land race late last year. He won SIC, which got a little rough, and he did well at this race. But
he's actually been strong now in Nitro Buggy.
Yeah, so Techno's got something good going on, and just me, like this is the first time I've actually been in their pits. I'm always been a little bit nervous going in their pits, but I've gotten to know Matt and Danny lately. I went in there, I talked to Seth, talked to Tebow, talked to a few people in there. And they have a good thing going on in there, man. And I think they, like I said it in the beginning, I think 3 companies done really well at this race, and they were one of them. So kudos to Techno as well. And but then again, they didn't have Joe Bornhorst. That didn't make the main. So that was a bit off. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Finally, to the Viking, who went, he didn't go in quite berserker mode as he did at Montpellier, but I think he done exactly what he needed to do to just dominate and win this race. He let Barufalo and Maifield have their time out front for the first 7 minutes, and he just hung back, and I think he like kind of stalked Maifield he made a mistake, and he just did it lap. He didn't push the issue like when he overtook Maifield. He didn't push it, just waited, and Maifield finally made that mistake, and he just went, "See you later." He just like, I'm gone, and that was it. And he walked away with it, in my opinion.
I did. It was impressive.
Yeah.
Just like Ebuggy.
Yeah. And wow, I can't say nothing like besides the fact that I think that now this dude has got that race win that he's been desperately trying to get since the last DNC in 2018, Since DNC 2018, he had the whole I have the world's curse going against me. Well, I think it's now time to hold Ronnefalk's beer and watch what he does this year, because it's going to be impressive. He's not going to win them all, but he's going to win some more. And I think September, or when the Worlds is coming up, this dude wants to be the second 2-time winner. So, and you know what?
All?
I know. Well, the ones that have won. There's not that many racing that have won already. So, just Ty.
Ronnefalk, Robert, Ty.
Yeah. But I think Ronnefalk can really do it, dude. I think he can. I don't think there's anything that can stop him. His program's good. His mental game's good. And he's just Viking domination, man. Berserker mode. I see it coming this year. There will only be a few people that beat him. Ongaro, Maifield. Well, they'll only race again once. But on the European side, I'm just impressed, man. Just impressed. I'm impressed with HB the whole weekend. They swept intermediate. Congratulations to Jermaine Robinson, young Jermaine. He won intermediate. Kurt Callum, Bogey Givens. Like, HB won DNC, period. Yes, they won Ebuggy, and they won Nitro Buggy, and they won intermediate Buggy. They won DNC. You want to ask me which company did? They did, period. Would you argue with me?
No, I agree. They had a good DNC.
Yeah.
Really good.
Really good. And congratulations.
Had a lot of cars there also. Yep. So
looking good in the pits.
HB is really becoming one of the bigger brands in 8-scale off-road, that's for sure.
I definitely think it's one of the biggest, especially in America. Wait till you go PMB. It's going to be way more.
Yeah, they're kind of overtaking the others, becoming the biggest maybe in America soon. Like Mugen's kind of been there. TLR used to be. TLR isn't anymore.
Well, they're getting back there.
Shows they did a lot. Mugen used to be big, so
yeah.
It's I don't know who has the most sales now. It's the big ones are now HB, Mugen.
I mean, even TLR had a big camp. There's a lot more people running TLRs now. So
there are, but it's sort of a California
thing. It is,
really.
though. It is. I don't see it too much on the East Coast.
Yeah,
but
when you go to the races, you don't see that many TLRs.
HB anymore. Is big everywhere, I think. They're big East Coast, Northeast, Southeast. They're big West Coast. I don't know how big they are in the Midwest. I think that's still more of associated and stuff. But kudos to HB, kudos to Ronnefalk. I know, I'm just happy for him. I wanted a European to win to boost the whole Euro versus America thing. But yeah, man, he did it. And I'm happy for him. So good stuff. He got his Pazuki too. I found out what a Pazuki was. I got to eat a bit of Greg's one at the restaurant. All right. So anything else you want to add about Ronnefalk before we move on to surprises?
No.
All right. So we went through the top 10. Congratulations to everybody that participated. Congratulations to everybody in intermediate. I just named it was impressed. That kid, Jermaine, I shouldn't call him a little kid because he's 13, 14. He's impressive, man. I think he's going to do well if HB takes him out of his wing, under their wing, and he keeps up with this, he's going to be good. But I guess he has to run pro next year because he won intermediate. But he's doing really well. So I'm impressed with him. And yeah, just period, man. Everybody who done well, and won their races. Congratulations, because this was a hard race to win, man. A hard race to win. All right, surprises. All right, man. Let's just be honest here. I think the biggest surprise for me was Lutz, man. Period.
How is that a surprise? You should do the who was a positive surprise and who was a disappointment. That would be much better. How about that? Let's do that.
All right, let's do it that way.
Well, we start with disappointments. You were disappointed with Lutz.
I was, I spent some time over in the Nemo pits because we set up the podcast over there. So thank you to Billy and Nemo for allowing us to be over there. And I got to talk with Ryan quite a lot. Man, very nice dude. Like, I really like Ryan a lot. But, man, he was one of them guys that needed a good race. He needed a win. He needed a top 3. And he didn't make the main. And he didn't make the main in Ebuggy, which was just 2 surprising things. And then I think he broke in truck. So a really bad weekend for Lutz. And I don't care what anybody says. When you had, I think what happened at Montpellier carried on over to this race. I don't care what you say. And, Lutz is always going to be nice and be like, yeah, we just get it on the next one. And I just kept telling him all the weekend, man, come on, man, I want you to get angry. Get angry and let's do some damage here. But it just never happened, man. And I just felt bad for Billy and Nemo because I know most of their guys are kind of like ours. They're kind of on the East Coast. There's a few guys on the West Coast. But just him and Steve, and they had, Nemo has that nice big pit set up. And just disappointed, man. I know, just disappointed that Lutz didn't make the main. That's a big thing. But I know they're disappointed. But I think for what Lutz has to do, for me, is probably take a week off, enjoy his time with his family, and regroup and get ready. I think he's racing at the holiday hangover here soon, which is in Washington. Won't be that many people there. But he needs to go up there and have fun doing RC and get some confidence back. What do you think?
I think it's the car. I think that they don't really have the best setup for all conditions at the moment. In my opinion, on a track like this, it's the shocks. They have bigger shocks and shock shafts, I think, than all the other brands. And that would be my suspicion. There's also another thing about the car, which is the diffs. They have these double bearings on the outdrive, so the diffs are super wide, and then the drive shaft in the diff is also really wide because of that. So the pin location of the drive shaft is wide. I think those 2 things make the car very different to the other cars on the market right now. And I think they struggle to find a good setup that is consistent and good on in all different conditions, all different tracks. So, okay.
But I mean, he couldn't find at Montpellier, which is smoother, high tracks, more traction.
Did you just hear what I was saying?
I know that, but like, I mean, we're like, this is where I'm confused. You get what I'm trying to say here? He wins DXR. Not rough, not smooth. You know what I mean? He done well at SIC here recently. Pretty decent. I don't know. I know you say it's a car, you think the shocks are too big and the diffs and all that stuff, but he was doing well with this car. He qualified into the main.
Yes, but
last year third at this race.
Can do well when the car is good, and it's not always good. And then when it's not good, he can't make it good. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think is going on.
Yeah, probably. I just feel for him, man. I just feel for him. Hopefully he regroups and gets back at it, because that's what he needs to do. Take a week off, regroup, and get back at it. That's all. I think he's probably the biggest surprise or disappointment of DNC. Unfortunately, as much as I like Lutz and as nice as he is, I think he needs to get a little more angry too, man. And just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm Ryan Lutz. I'm 6'7", and I'm taking people out. I'm come here to win. But I'm sure they'll get it together. I'm sure he'll get it together. He is still a good driver and a professional driver. And we all go through these races where we might have a string of races that are just not good. So I don't know. How about you? Disappointment for you?
Other than myself?
I wasn't disappointed. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I was expecting you to do better. I truly was. Because you've been practicing out there. But I told you, and you thought I was joking and just talking shit. But I knew Wednesday that you wasn't gonna do good because you mentally, like you mentally took yourself out of the race.
No, I didn't.
You did, because Friday you left all of us and went to the camper and didn't even really say goodbye to anybody because you're so angry. Which I understand. I understand you're frustrated, but I don't know what to say. I think me personally, I know you for about 2.5 years, 3 years now. I'm seeing this happen to you before. If things don't go your way, you melt on, man, on that radio and all that type of stuff. So you did come back Saturday. You did bump up in Truggy. And yeah, just difficult, man. You was in a C-man with a lot of fast guys. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, I think since I was going to say lots, but since you said lots, I'd say CJ Jellin, only because he's running Kyosho now. He made the main at the Worlds, and he should be improving. So he should, at this point, he should be sort of a staple name always in the main.
I can agree with that.
Not.
Yeah.
So he should, he should be the next Tebow sort of kind of thing. But he's not quite there yet for whatever reason. So
he's getting tall too.
I would say, yeah, I'd say him.
I think another disappointment would be Bornhorst not making the A main. He tried though. He drove his ass off.
That's not a disappointment for me.
I know it's not a disappointment for you, but it's a disappointment for people that like Joe Bornhorst. And on contrary to what you believe, there's lots of people that like Bornhorst. So yes, I would say it's disappointing that he did not make the main. He should be making these mains without an issue. But man, some fast dudes out there, man. And that kid, Seth freaking Van Dalen, he probably took it. Hey, he made it. So I think.
So I take it Seth was your positive surprise of the race.
Yes, because I had heard so much about him. I got to finally meet him. His dad. He's a good young man. His dad's cool. And he done something very impressive, man. And I think if whatever team he's on or whatever team he's at, they have a rock star in the making. It's how they're gonna make him into a rock star. I think he's my surprise.
Okay, since you picked him, I picked the other obvious one. I'd say Adam Drake, the captain.
I can't argue with that. Yeah.
Like Ronda said after the race, it's all that club racing he does. So yeah, he really was good. Qualified direct, solid qualifying effort.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was never any doubt there. Just strong program and good result.
Very much so. Very impressive.
Could have been even better in the main. I mean, he got sixth, but let's face it. I mean, he was in that battle for the podium. Some things, I guess, didn't go his way, mistakes, something happened, but rerun the race, he could have finished third. Like, seriously. He was in it. He was there.
I agree with you, man. I wouldn't even he was a pleasant surprise. Yeah. But he's had good results lately too. And
yeah, but he hasn't been this close.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
not this close. It's
not
Joseph?
Not against these guys. Not like passing Ongaro and battling with Maifield on the track. Not like that.
He's got his program. Drake's always had his mechanic and his car program has always been great. But it is, man.
And he beat Tessman, like, heads up. Beat Tessman.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Impressive. Super impressive by Drake. And he's busy with helping everybody else, too. And his wife. So, yeah, definitely Drake. Anybody else comes to mind that surprised me? Not really. Barufalo, his second qualifier was really good. But it didn't surprise me because I know he's capable of that. I just don't know how he's so capable of putting in such a great performance and then such a shitty one right afterwards. So, yeah. Disappointment too would be Ongaro for me. I expected more out of him. I expected Ongaro to be battling for the lead, to be honest. But just never showed up, man.
I think his setup just doesn't allow that right now.
So, any other surprises or disappointments before we move on?
No, I think we covered them.
All right. Let's see. We do have some Facebook questions to go over. Let me go over my notes, see if we have anything more to talk about here. We've been doing this for freaking almost 2 hours now. I just want to say, I enjoyed watching the racing from this race. Yes, I think there are things that can be better, but at the same time, I'm not putting on this race. I think it was very tense. I think it came like first big race. It should. The cream always rises to the crop no matter what. And I am glad I watched this race and not actually raced this race. Because I would have sucked Terry Marshall and I would have sucked on the track. My luck, my fat ass probably would have got Terry Marshall in the 6-pack and I would have been on video knocked out by a car. Or something. I just know that would have happened to me because I'm just too old and slow to be dancing between two big jumps. And yeah, I wanted you to do better too. And Cody, kudos to Cody. He made the A main in all his classes. Cody made A main in all his classes. He missed his truck main, which I think hurt him. I think he needed that time on the track to build some confidence. And then he made intermediate main for Ebuggy and Nitro Buggy. And congratulations to Greg Degani. I got to big up the JQ guys. Man, Greg got serious. Greg got all serious about 40 plus this weekend. I think he's making a comeback.
He had to get serious. Car wasn't working.
Yeah.
Still did well. Finished,
he did well.
Third? So basically second. You can't add him out. So Saxton beat him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But he might be going PNB, so he'll be all about that. He's probably going to he might actually even practice now before that.
No, I don't think so, but he'll go PNB.
If you said, hey, Greg, let's go Tuesday Night Nationals, he'll go.
Yeah, I think maybe he will.
Maybe you should follow Drake's example. Less Facebooking and more club racing.
I'm not Facebooking.
Yeah, for now. All right. Anything to add before we go into our questions, Joseph?
No.
All right. So we've been talking about DNC for 2 hours. So we don't have a rant. We don't have any call-ins this week. We'll resume them next week. But we do have some Facebook questions. So let's get to them. Most of them will probably be about DNC.
BeachRC.com, the Racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Curtis Crumbs, why did Rupert let Westergaard beat him so bad? Oh man, you know what? I think aside from the actual racing, a lot of people were actually following you and Westergaard's battle. Well, I wouldn't call it a battle now. When someone gets beat 7-2.
It wasn't much of a battle, to be honest.
Yeah, he should have done better, period, too. I mean,
let's face it. He kind of sucked, but he still beat me because I sucked a lot worse.
Yeah. He didn't do as good as I thought he would. He had a not so good weekend. But, yeah, you sucked even more. So, PNB, dude. But you're not going to catch him, but you can get a little bit of pride back by doing well at PNB. I'm not going to talk shit to you. I'm going to boost you from now on to PNB. Okay? So we forget about DNC and we focus on PNB. Let's do some club racing, Tuesday Night Nationals, all that type of stuff. You and Dagani out there, and let's get ready for PNB. How does that sound?
It sounds good. The PNB stays smooth, so
yeah,
should be okay.
Andrew Alfano. He says, will Barufalo ever get that throw punch? I doubt it. People say stuff when they're angry, but you never know, man. Barufalo might be a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something. 2. Jay Zellner. I heard some teams are going back to bladders and shocks, saying that it was pushing shocks back into the ruts. He says, I've recently been running valve-type pistons with emulsion caps for the same reason. Which is better for severely rutted, like he's trying to say for a bumpy track. Do you agree with him?
I don't know. I always liked emulsion more for the bumps.
Okay. Colin Cabre, what shock and diff package pistons oil springs were you on for that bumpy track? Not the right ones, apparently.
Yeah, not the right ones. I tried some stuff. I mean, I don't know. Just I ran the C-main with my standard 7.125, 135.
Didn't you go back to regular gearing as well?
I went back to my 45-14, okay. 49-13. I preferred that.
Was the other gearing...
Actually, in the C-main, the car was the best it's been, but it just, things didn't go my way. I messed up on the first lap. I crashed on that step up, so then I was in traffic and trying to catch up the whole race. I think it would have been a lot different had I just, been up there with Anthony and sort of pulled away in the top 3. So, because my car was actually decent in that race, I thought, but it just, not good enough. Mm-hmm. I could tell when I was racing someone else and they go through a section and then I go, and I just knew, like, they didn't necessarily have to hit the right line and they were still okay. And if I did the same as them, I was just all over the place. So, yeah.
Go do some Tuesday Night Nationals, dude. Jason Roberts. I've been out of the 8-scale Nitro game for about 10 years. I'm getting back in. I just bought a black edition. Oh, I answered this dude. I talked to him on Facebook. Well, that's cool. He just bought a black edition, so I helped him out. Connie Svensson, he wants to talk about the head hitting incident. We did go over it, but he does say he does bring up some good points. He says the opinions of whose faults on the incident is divided, driver or marshal, or both or neither. He says, or should the track builder try to minimize the chances for this to happen, as some suggested, and Tebow agreed, because he got hit near the same spot. And why aren't marshals wearing yellow vests in USA? Can anyone discuss how we can improve safety issues at the track? Now, I might sound like a pussy or whatever when I bring up these safety concerns, but I bring them up from a person of experience hitting people, not getting hit. I've hit 2 or 3 people, and it's not a good feeling. So, I mean, we're racing RC cars. It can go dangerous. It always seems to be like e-buggies, e-truggies. That's the big issue because you can't hear them. That's why. So you're just like, and you next you know it's on you. Well, what else do you think we can do to minimize some of these risks, Joseph?
Just build a front straight instead of 3 huge jumps.
I think we need to have high-vis vests too. I think it helps.
I don't think the vests do anything.
I do. You know why? Because that is something bright that you can, out of your peripheral vision, that you can pick up. You know what I mean? When someone's wearing like brown cargo pants or a faded blue shirt, that doesn't really pick up in your peripheral. But if you have a bright yellow high-vis or bright orange high-vis, you do. That's the reason why. I've worked in situations where you need high-vis stuff, and it makes a difference. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but it's something simple. Just leave it on the cone and you can even put dirt logos or whatever, Jeremy Oldby, we had a good time with Jeremy and his family. He asks, why did Joseph suck so bad? And his thoughts on first time eating fruit gushers. Man, I should have videotaped that. Like when you bit into the snacks that they gave you, was like,
yeah, those things weren't the best.
That wasn't the look that I got. I kind of, I don't want to be rude. because I said something that is very rude. I don't want to say what I said. It's probably not good for this podcast. But all I can say is
yeah, but you just don't expect that to happen.
I know that's what probably a lot of women feel too. You know, that's the kind of look you gave. Like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Ross McDonald. Thank you, Ross. Met him. Albuquerque guy. Took some stuff.
That's why I sucked also.
Yeah, why did you suck? But you explained that over and over. We didn't need to.
Because I suck. That's why.
Now, see, now I have to definitely boost you because your morale and confidence is so low. Now I have to build you back up. I can see it. It's my mission. Ross McDonald, Albuquerque. Took some stuff back to Albuquerque. A few guys think he was. It's so funny. What was JQ learning from the TLR pit? That thanks to Tiny, Sean Alcorn, he was pitting in the Techno pits, and he took that picture of you looking through the, the top of the TLR pits, and that pic is going viral. It's so many memes coming out about it. Guys thought you was like, it's so funny. It's so much stuff going on. One guy goes, I think he was taking a piss on TLR. What you was doing was just spying on Anthony, getting in his head.
I was talking, when that picture was taken, I was talking to Barry Baker there.
Ah, okay. Alman McCain, did you ever answer the questions from your last DNC request? I did, but we didn't post that podcast. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll post it on Patreon.
Only.
Yeah. Because that's kind of rowdy. I don't know if it's for public consumption. Now that Sean Rusin, I want to say it was good to meet Sean, hang out with Sean again, and I got to meet Tim Smith because of Sean, and I think Tim Smith is awesome, and I love RC drag racing. Hey, do you know, just off subject, they're having an all cash payout for a big race in Vegas next week with no prep RC drag racing. So everybody puts in $100 and winner takes all. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Like real money up for grabs.
If you like drag racing.
Yeah. And it's all scale looking. And Sean wants to know, now that DNC is over, what's the next big race for JQ, PMB? Yes, he's going to stay in California. And he goes, are you going to continue to work on your cars at OCRC? I would say that your 10 scale hopes and dreams for 2020 are over, unless you're trying to do the Euros.
My 10 scale career is over.
All right. Y'all Mellow, which brand was the most successful and which brands had the most cars at DNC and which was the most successful? Well, I don't know which brand had the most cars there because I haven't seen any pie charts for that. But I think Joseph and I both agreed that HB was the most successful brand at DNC. Kenny Johnson is laughing at my picture I posted of you and says, you are awesome. More TLR jokes. Looks like he's peeking into TLR to get some setup tips. One guy goes, maybe it's a TLR glory hole. That's funny. Nicola asks, any idea if there's a new TLR truggy coming out? Yes, there are. The Dakota fan was running it. So I'm guessing it will be coming out shortly. Zachary Kohler, where did the original JQ body design for the JQ cars come from? It's very different than most out there. Joseph?
I think it was inspired a bit actually by Jimmy Babcock's body. He had a white, black, green, and yellow body back in the day. I like those colors. And then the bird, I think my friend painted a body for me and someone said, what is that? Is that a bird? And then I was like, no, it isn't, but it could be. And then the next body had that sort of bird shape and head on it. And then that's also what's in the original JQ logo. So that's where it kind of came from.
All right. Chris Boyder, does he think the 8X is a good buggy? Everybody's talking about
ask Anthony. He's up 7-2. So.
Tim Wainwright, our guy down there in Australia, he asks, so does having no sex make you a faster driver as the Seaman was not quick?
I mean, obviously, it doesn't help me.
Yeah, you might as well forget about re-virginizing, dude. Just lose your cherry all over again.
Yeah, it's just not working.
Eddie think maybe he goes might be a good topic for the rant, but watching some race footage and notice a lot of rough driving and lack of respect for the fellow racer. What can we do as racers and track operators to reduce this? And then Rob Umpo goes, Scotty mentioned numerous times that they did not have any referee. I would think that any event of this caliber, that having one would be expected. Well, they haven't had a referee at any big race that I've been to.
No, but they had a speakeasy, so it's all good.
Yeah, they definitely need a referee, man. Not just at this race, but at many other races. And I think that's the only way you can do it, man. Start giving people penalties, and it stops. Until you do that, until you come out of pocket and pay somebody to be up there and do that, it's not going to change. Because the race director can't do it all. Victor Goulet is French last name, so I don't understand. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. With Infiniti copying the HB car, can we say that the HB car is the best in the industry at the moment?
Infiniti aren't copying the HB car. Infiniti used the HB car as a base to develop and design their own car. They don't have diffs yet and gearboxes and stuff, so They had to just use some car. So
yeah, because it's expensive to do all that stuff. Well, not that money matters to Infiniti, but they don't want to lose money. Sean Alcorn, who also took the pick, was JQ drinking when he thought he can beat Anthony Westergaard? Well, to answer that question, he was beating Anthony Westergaard from up until 2019. When 2019 happened, that's when JQ started losing to Anthony Westergaard. Scooter Scott, couple of non-DNC questions. First, where can one find box art of JQ race buggies to make scale boxes? Scooter makes some really cool scale boxes for scale garages. And second, do you know if anyone has ever converted a JQ buggy into a dirt oval car? No one-word answers, please. Well, I don't know. We need to get this guy, Scooter. He showed me his boxes. He has he does these really cool scale boxes. We need to get him do one for JQ, so people can have JQ RC car boxes in their scale garage. In fact, I want one to put in my scale truck. So let's get that.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
It's like scale boxes. Like people make these scale garages to put their scale vehicles in, so they have everything that looks real. So like people have been he makes scale boxes with real box art. So it'd be like a JQ car kit box with like a little mini box of what you have. And they put that like on their shelves and stuff like that. Or they put it in the back of their pickup truck or something. You get what I'm saying? Scale life, bro.
Amazing.
Scale life is bigger than racing RC. Ayers Pabst, he wants to know, did Anthony come out to play with JQ? Well, they both showed up. The only one that was playing was JQ because he lost. Can marshalling be improved at bigger events in general? Rough driving be penalized? We covered rough driving. We've covered marshalling. You've covered marshalling many, many times, so we don't have to get back into that. Corey Jordan. Joseph, looking back at your Truggy and Buggy race, what changes would you have made to both vehicles? And did you write down any information as a setup to help you if you race on that type of track surface again?
I think that everything was pretty good except pistons, oil, springs. Need to figure that out for a track that's that rough.
What are you thinking in your brain? Like, now that you're looking back on it, what would you change?
I would try different pistons.
Like
what? I didn't try. What I tried didn't work.
What would you try? No, that's what I'm trying to get to you. What pistons would you try?
I don't know. I've tried 5-hole, 6-hole, 7-hole, 8-hole. Nothing really worked very well. So I don't know.
How about truck? Would you have made any changes to your truck?
No, I think that was pretty good. I just run it. I wouldn't get taken out by a Redondo. How about that?
Oh, he took you out once. Jesus. I knew he...
Well, still, I wouldn't.
All right. Kevin Tomsovic, who gave you a pretty cool key ring. Vehicles cutting the track. We talked about that. We need a referee. Same if Charlie Heiser, but I like how he says, I really think the rough driving especially on Sunday, was really a result of the track being so fucked up. I really think they should have done track maintenance in between rounds. When a track gets this bad, one realizes why there are clay tracks and why they add so much glue, etc. Well, if they had done track maintenance in between rounds, we would have been there to fucking today racing. They took 20 minutes.
The track was fine.
Yeah, they took 20 minutes to water the track, and by the time they finished watering, it was dry. So maintenance would have took an hour in between rounds. Yeah, more than an hour. And it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. You could have filled, you could fill those holes up with all the loose dirt you want and put water on and pack it on. It's just going to come up. It's just going to come up, and there's going to be bigger holes and more holes somewhere else. So, yeah, I don't think that would have worked. I don't think that would have worked. And I think that's all the questions we have for this week on the Beach RC Facebook question page segment, Joseph. Do we have a rant? Do we want to do a rant?
No.
No rant for you this week? I think people are going to be disappointed.
Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Techno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Techno Takeover.
I think this concludes our podcast anyway. We're just doing a DNC recap. I want to say thank you to everybody that I met at the race. It was a blast. Thank you to all of the supporters from around the world that support the No Name RC podcast. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our patrons. I will be dropping a patron-only podcast this week, I believe. And I want to say thank you to our sponsors, which are RCMX Online, JQ Racing, Techno RC, Beach RC, BK Servers, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, and RC Race Works. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. We appreciate all the support from all of you. Joseph, anything to add before we sign out here? Anything that we missed?
No.
All right. Well, remember, Nitro Is The Glory. Ebuggy pays the bills. We need to get Joseph acquired a mouse because that's all I've heard this whole podcast. I want to thank you all for the continued support. Remember, if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. And if you ain't having fun, it don't make sense. So keep club racing, support your local track. I guess the next big race for Joseph is PMB. I don't think we have we have holiday hangover in between now and then, but I don't know how many pro guys are going to that big Pacific Northwest race. So I guess we don't really have any racing news between now and PMB, Joseph. I don't think. We'll find something. There's always something to find. There's always something to talk about. Well, thank you guys for the support. And remember, share and like this podcast and support your local tracks. Joseph, see you later. Thank you for your time.
Whatever.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.